The reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. And he talked about it in the court case. You know, he's talking about cocaine. Like that was the whole thing, that we're all doing cocaine. And
saying is this: when you knock a champion who's been that dominant and that good for 10 years out in 14 seconds,
13.
There is a question, which is, was that in some ways a...
The legendary Joe Rogan of the UFC just ruined Jake Paul vs. Conor McGregor by pointing out what everyone else was missing. As you can see, Rogan isn't too fond of the YouTuber turned boxer cliche. Paul, who has been bouncing off the ropes since his Mayweather bout, nevertheless believes he can defeat Missy McGregor.
That's him now. He's super jacked.
He looks like a bodybuilder.
See, that's what he looks like now. He's still jacked. Still looks great. He looks good, though.
Whoa.
He looks so old now.
He looks different.
Perhaps the most important fight of your career. Give us your thoughts on this rematch. He should have killed me when he had the chance, because now I'm back and I'm going to kill you and your whole team. You and their kids. Just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. That's what I dreamed into reality.
Rogan is here to remind everyone that Paul is not the invincible deity he believes himself to be. After all, he has 1 million fans and many more naive people who believe he can defeat a warrior like McGregor.
People are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. It's not, nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well.
This is going to be an interesting trip, so let's dissect Rogan's brutal interpretation of the Paul vs. McGregor circus.
Which is, Dylan Dennis is a professional fighter. He's a professional fighter. He jumps out, he takes a swing at him. They're screaming, and Dylan's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Fuck you," and there's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
This wasn't about analyzing Jake Paul's strengths or figuring out who would win. It was Joe Rogan's chance to have some fun with the whole situation. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, seems to be enjoying every moment of trolling everyone, while Rogan has some choice words about Paul's boxing career and his ability to draw attention. Rogan flat out calls Jake a master troll but admits that Paul's marketing skills are top tier. He's like a circus ringmaster, pulling in viewers even if they're just tuning in to see the chaos unfold. When it comes to Paul's boxing, Rogan doesn't hold back. While he acknowledges that Jake has knocked out some well-known fighters, such as Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva, Rogan points out that these opponents were all past their prime. He believes if Jake wasn't a YouTuber, people might take him more seriously as a boxer, but his online fame always seems to undermine his credibility. Despite all this, Rogan admits Jake has real power in his hands. Even if the competition hasn't been elite, Jake's ability to make noise in the boxing world is undeniable. Rogan seems to appreciate the show, even if he's not sold on Jake's skills just yet. Conor McGregor, once the UFC's golden boy, has been spiraling for a while. Joe Rogan, always blunt, points to McGregor's self-destructive tendencies as his biggest downfall, not his skill. The fame and fortune hit McGregor hard, and while he was once unstoppable, constantly trash-talking and bragging, he eventually lost control. It seems the fame got to his head, leading to excessive partying and poor decisions. Despite still being physically impressive, McGregor's life has become a mess, plagued by legal troubles, failed business ventures, and a reputation that's rapidly deteriorating. What was once the peak of success now looks like a slow, painful decline, as the former champion grapples with the consequences of his own actions.
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
What's happening with his the civil suit? He's being dropped by all his companies or something?
Yeah, I don't know the real details of that case, but the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard.
Rogan doesn't mince words. The man who was supposed to be the greatest of all time was McGregor. I thought he was going to rule the sport. And he did for a time. He had the world at his feet, becoming the first fighter to hold 2 UFC belts at the same time, and knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. The tale of McGregor doesn't stop there though, does it? No, Rogan says. After McGregor's peak, everything began to go apart, with him wrecking buses, getting into strange fights with other fighters, and generally behaving like a circus show both inside and outside the cage. Not only is Gregor's fall from grace entertaining, but it's also somewhat heartbreaking.
Accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
The infamous bus incident, where Conor McGregor threw a metal dolly at a bus filled with UFC rivals, remains a chaotic moment in his career. Joe Rogan described it as typical McGregor behavior, something no one should have been surprised by. While McGregor's actions led to serious legal trouble, it's hard to view him as a world champion when his behavior has been so erratic. Rogan also criticized McGregor's lack of focus, pointing to his notorious partying lifestyle and speculation about drug use, including cocaine. McGregor's return to the UFC has been marked by struggles, both personally and legally, making it difficult to take him seriously as he seems to be swerving away from his fighting career, constantly caught up in other distractions.
UFC fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA basketball game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining the allegations was sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News. It says the alleged assault took place in a bathroom at an arena in Miami. The woman's lawyer said she'd been watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday the 9th of June before the alleged incident happened. She alleged the woman was forced into a men's bathroom by security guards from the NBA and Miami Heat before being violently assaulted by Mr. McGregor.
Then there's the minor issue of McGregor's legal issues, which include a civil lawsuit and being abandoned by sponsors. McGregor's career is now a haze of confusion. Although it hasn't exactly been the PR boost McGregor was expecting for, a lady in Dublin accused him of abusing her, and Rogan doesn't just bring it up in paparazzi, he gives it the attention it deserves. CDD disaster. That is, Gregor's life is having an effect on his legacy. Even while Gregor continues to share mysterious Instagram videos of himself working out. Let's be honest, this dude isn't the same. He is a superstar because of his fire, compassion, and charm.
Match for Conor. Is that ever happening? Or
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
what's happening with his he just got like the civil suit or whatever, and he's being dropped by all his companies or something.
Furthermore, there is the entire discussion of a return. Sure, McGregor is playing around, but when everything he touches crumbles to dust, it's difficult to believe him. Fans questioned if we would ever see the McGregor of old back after his horrific leg injury in 2021. But here's the thing, in addition to his physical recuperation, McGregor is dealing with a number of other issues, and nobody can truly predict what the future holds for him. Given all the commotion and the fact that he is more interested in partying than in training, Gann is not hopeful about his return.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Joe Rogan, ever the realist, acknowledged Jake Paul's commitment to training and no longer dismisses him as just a social media personality. Despite his YouTuber background, Rogan now recognizes Jake as a legitimate fighter after his impressive performance against Tyron Woodley. Rogan admitted that Jake Paul could potentially knock someone out if they aren't careful. While he conceded that Jake's fight IQ may not be on par with top UFC fighters, he emphasized that Jake is serious about boxing. He's been sparring with pro boxers and training with legends like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia. Rogan made it clear Jake Paul isn't just playing around in the gym, he's putting in the work and showing real progress in his fighting career.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up.
Joe Rogan gives Conor McGregor the benefit of the doubt when it comes to striking, acknowledging McGregor's reputation for precision and devastating power. However, the story of McGregor's career is more complex than it seems. Since his fight with Mayweather, McGregor's life has been marked by excess. While the money and fame have been undeniable, the toll on his career is clear. McGregor has faced numerous challenges, partying, injuries, setbacks, and the infamous leg break, all of which have taken a toll on him both physically and mentally. Rogan points out that McGregor's lifestyle choices have played a significant role in his decline. The lavish, attention-grabbing life he led after achieving global success did more harm than good for his career. According to Rogan, McGregor's self-destruction wasn't simply the result of aging or losing his prime. It was about giving in to the temptations of wealth and fame without the discipline to stay focused. The combination of personal struggles, public meltdowns, and a lack of self-control has led to a fighter who is no longer the same force in the cage. Ultimately, McGregor's downfall may have been the result of not having the mental discipline to balance success with the demands of being a top-level athlete.